damn, I should have shaved before I came today. So, all right.
All right, you okay, so first start with opening statement from you, going to the tournament or open up the questions.
I'm obviously excited to be back in paradise in this tournament, and we haven't been here in a while. I think 2013 was the last time we were here, and certainly excited to come back to not only be here in Bahamas and at Atlantis, but also to be with my team and playing in what is a very, very strong competitive field, and the field is even better than the rankings. So it's going to be a good 3 days that we'll learn a lot about our team.
Obviously, this is your first game back. You've had a chance to be at practice and stuff like that. I mean, how excited are you to take the reign?
Yeah. Well, first of all,
it was great.
yeah, it was great for Norman. Norman did a great job. Guys rallied around him, and he did great. Of course, you knew he would. But no, I didn't like it much. The first 2 games were actually okay. The Duke and Southern Utah, I didn't quite feel as comfortable watching from the living room as I did the first 2, but the guys did fine, and certainly we got a long ways to go to become a really good team. And sometimes I think, me stepping away, at least in that moment in time, may be a positive for us, because maybe I can see it from a little bit different perspective. I know I saw it from a fan's perspective, and now I know what fans are crazy because they have absolutely no control on what's going on. At least as a coach, you think you got a little bit, even though you don't have much. So I liked it better when I had a little control.
Yeah, Bill, just to follow up on that, how did you work with watching the game, taking notes, then coming to practice and implementing what you saw from afar? I mean, just kind of an unusual way to work.
I didn't actually take one note. I took all my notes when I watched the replay. I was, too busy, get him out or what are we doing type during the actual game. So, but it was different, but I think it's something that, that's one thing about our guys, at least, we say it all the time, faces change, expectations do not. And, we had a different coach and he did great, and expectations still the same. So it was still kind of business as usual.
I wanted to ask you about transfers in the transfer portal era. Obviously you got one in McCullough that is playing a pretty prominent role for you. These early tournaments have always been important for teams to kind of figure out against tough competition, who they are, their rotations, all those things. Are these tournaments more crucial or valuable in the sense that everybody's dealing with so much roster upheaval with transfers, and it's a good opportunity?
Yeah, I think so. It's like we lost, we basically played 7 guys in the championship game, basically. And, 5 of them aren't with us anymore. So we've got quite a bit of turnover ourselves, even though most of our turnover wasn't through the portal, it was through incoming freshmen. But whether it be transfers or incoming freshmen, I think that a lot of people get a false sense that you can actually become a team a heck of a lot earlier in the season than you actually can. There's not one team here yet. Everybody will become a team at some point in time this season, but it usually doesn't happen in early November. We didn't become a team last year until February. And so now we may have won some games up until then, but to become a real team with your identity, you know exactly how you're going to play, where roles are defined and things like that. And so tournaments like this, I think, are great. It's a chance to bring your team, be together and become closer. And also a chance to, be, from a non-critical way to self-evaluate and know exactly where you're at on what you have to work on too.
Bill, 2 questions. Jalen's off to a great start, obviously. One day ask about Grady Tech. I mean, he's a local, semi-local kid from in-state. I mean, When did you know about him? I mean, you know, obviously Sunrise is a nice program, but
We recruited Grady a couple of years before he ever went to Sunrise.
wow.
So he was at Collegiate and there in Wichita. And so, yeah, I went to watch him play at Collegiate, and Norm did as well. And so when he made the move the last 2 years to go to Sunrise, you know, we were already knee deep in recruiting him. So yeah, but he's a terrific prospect. You know, people say he's a great shooter. He is a great shooter, but he's also a player too. He's got some game but I don't believe I've had a better freshman shooter ever than what he is. He's high release, hard to block, quick release, and you know, he also doesn't remember his misses, which is very important for a shooter.
And Jalen Wilson.
And Jay Wills, you know, I've had some, you know, Ochai got off to a great start last year, he became an All-American. Thomas Robinson got off to a great start, and he became an All-American out of left field. Frank Mason got off to a great start in the Champions Classic. He became the National Player of the Year out of left field. Jalen's kind of in that mold. I mean, he's put himself in the conversation to be one of the best players in the country right now. And, you know, as he's averaging 24.5, 9, and 4.5, which I don't know if anybody in America can boast those numbers this early, but it's also early and it's also different competition and things have a way leveling out. But he's been great for us.
We'll take a couple questions on Zoom.
Hey, Coach, this is Shay. Listen, I'm just wondering, having watched the team from afar during game day, did you learn anything about them that you might not have, you know, being there on game day? And real quick, too, on injuries, how are guys like Cam and Zach doing along? How are you guys health-wise coming into this event?
I'd say we have everybody here, except for, Charlie will be here today, but we have everybody here. Zach he practiced today, full go for the first time since he got hit. So now he should be available, but whether or not he'll play or not, I don't know. MJ, you know, we played on Friday. He got kidney stones Saturday night or whatever. So he practiced today for the first time since he played Friday and only practiced on Thursday, and then because he had COVID from the time before, so we're sick. So those guys are available. Cam's not. Cam's still coming back from a separated shoulder. So those guys are available, but I don't know how much we'll be able to use them this week.
Bill, what do you think of NC State's threes? Their 3-point bill.
Well, I think, they're going to shoot a ton of them. I don't know how many they're averaging. I should know that. They're averaging like 35 attempts a game in their first games. And you know, they're two guards or probably be as explosive a guards as we could possibly go against this year. Texas is the only team in our league that I've seen so far that has explosiveness in the backcourt like NC State. And those two and Joyner's been a great asset, you know, from the transfer portal that you alluded to. He's terrific, and the other guy can score from anywhere on the floor. And they got good players around them, but those two are different. That those will be as good a scoring guards that we'll play against this year.
Bill, do the guys get to enjoy the resort, or will that be right after the tournament or at all?
Well, they can, they can have some fun today. We hadn't really talked about it, but they can have some fun today. But after today, they won't until after the game on Friday, and then we'll have a little bit of time on Saturday. So that's the way it is in all these tournaments. There's nothing wrong with going down to the beach and walking around even on a game day or after the game. I mean, they'll do that, but to actually cut loose and enjoy it the way that what people would probably equate to having fun, that'll probably be today or after we finish playing.
Coach, thank you. Good luck.
Okay, thank you. Jim, how you been, man?
Good.